John, what were you like when you were 16? I was like this picture right here, kind of a little douchebag asshole, but kind of the same, same personality. So yeah, I was an okay guy, just a little bit more douchey, kind of like me, but a little more Striffler from American Pie. The next question is, will you ever co-host a podcast with Brittany? Because, well, she's just awesome. You hear that, Brittany?
Aww.
Come here. And he said, call it the Brittany Flickster channel, and John's stupid.
Yay.
Yay.
I'll do it.
Okay, well, if I allow you on it. Hey there guys, how are you? I'm here in my home theater room. This is where I watch all my movies. This is where I've been editing all my videos lately, and this is my Batman piggy bank. This is where I put my coins to serve justice. So how are you guys doing? Welcome to a brand new Q&A Ask Anything. It's been a while, and this is where I answer everything and anything. And I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So I'm going to go through and pick some of those questions through all those different, social media platforms. That sounds too sterile, doesn't it? The places where I post shit. That's what I call it. And by the way, very quickly, check out my Study Hands t-shirt. Study Hands. Yeah, if you've seen Nightcrawler, well, you should understand this. Anyway, if you guys want a closer look at this t-shirt, that's at my merch store at TeePublic. I'll put the link down below. Click it, check it out. It's one of my favorite t-shirts. It's all tri-blend. It's all soft and it lays right on your pecs. I love it. Okay, let's get to the point of the video now. Hey, John, love your channel. Been a fan for several months now. You always manage to put a smile on my face, and I love you for that. Well, I love you too. The question is, if you could design a John Flickster action figure, what accessories, features, etc. would it have? Well, it would definitely have articulation in both arms, but preferably just the right arm. That's where I need it. That's where the action figure needs it. And it'd also come with a bucket of popcorn, some Sour Patch Kids, and a video camera. And maybe like one dumbbell. Just one dumbbell to work at that articulating arm. What is your favorite Ben Affleck performance? I know he was excellent as Batman, but I also thought he was awesome in Days of Confused. You guys ready to kick some ass? Oh, O'Banion in Days of Confused, great Affleck character. And by the way, Days of Confused, whatever happened to that time in America where we could go around and paddle younger kids? I never got to experience that. But in all seriousness, I guess if I had to pick my favorite Affleck performance besides Batman, I'm gonna go with Affleck in The Town. Hey, I'm leaving this whole town in my rearview mirror. So yeah, a Boston bank robber, pretty good role. If you and Brittany were a couple from a movie, which couple would it be? That's a tough one. Could we go with Rocky and Adrian? Yeah, no, hey Brittany, we did it! Or you know what, I'm gonna go with Silence of the Lambs. I'd be Hannibal Lecter, she'd be Clarice Starling. She comes and visits me behind plexiglass, and I give her little clues leading to the capture of a serial killer named Buffalo Bill who likes to put women down in his well. Yeah, that'd be a good basis for a relationship, don't you think? What was the best part about your trip to Switzerland, and would you like to visit Europe again in the future? If so, which country would it be? Yeah, if you guys didn't already know, I actually went to Switzerland. I went to the Zurich Film Festival a couple weeks ago, and if you guys want to check out my vlog videos I made while I was there, those are all here on this channel, so check those out. And my hotel was phenomenal, like the rooftop pool. That was worth the trip alone. But as far as going to another country, well, let me back up for a second. The process of traveling, I hate it. Like, it's almost not worth going somewhere new to me because the process of getting there is awful. Here's what you do. You wake up early. You pack all your shit into a bag that doesn't fit. All the shit that you don't want, don't need, but you take anyway. Like, why do I have 3 pairs of shoes? I don't know. And then what you do is you wait in a line, then you wait in another line, and then you go through another line where they take off your shoes, they pat your balls, they rub your ass, you go through an x-ray machine that's probably causing cancer, and then you get on a little tube with a whole bunch of other people, and there's always someone sneezing. Someone's always sneezing all over the place. There's a little kid kicking the back of my seat. I'm waiting for him to throw up into my hair, and you're in this little tube, 35,000 feet in the air, and it just defies all logic to me. It's just like, how's this thing even up here anymore? Like, it just feels like it should crash. Am I the only one? And I say that out loud, and then they threaten to kick me off the plane. And what was I saying? I just forgot. Oh, okay. So then you get to another country, and then everything's different. Everything's backwards. It doesn't make sense. Nothing's really comfortable. You don't even know where to go. You're confused. It's kind of like the first day of high school. It's very scary, and you feel like you're about to get your ass kicked. So anyway, as far as going there, it was a beautiful country. Flying in over the Swiss Alps was like, whoa, it's like I'm in another country right now. This is awesome. And when I landed and I started walking through the city, I felt like I was in like a Jason Bourne film because I've never really been outside the United States before. And the great thing about Switzerland was everyone speaks English anyway. My number one complaint is it's hard to get a good meal in Switzerland, or at least in Zurich it was. First of all, things like hamburgers cost like $20 to $25, and even like mediocre little meals from like McDonald's, those cost like $15. So nothing's a good deal over there, and nothing was really filling. Like when you ate, I was always still hungry, and the only thing open late after like 9 o'clock was McDonald's. So the weird thing about it was I never eat McDonald's, and I live in America where there's a McDonald's every 15 feet and a Walmart. But I ate more McDonald's in 5 days when I was in Switzerland than I have in like the last 5 years of living here in the US. What happened to the Flick Crazy podcast? Are you still going to do it? Yeah, the Flick Crazy podcast is on hiatus right now. What we wanted to do was shoot 5 or 6 episodes and see how it worked out. And for the most part, I think it worked out as good as it could have. We could have put more effort into it, I feel like, to kind of structure it. But as far as it working out, I feel like a lot of people liked it, and some people had complaints with it. But for the most part, it was fun. It's just me and my buddy. We kind of talk about movies. We have a structure to it. And, going back and listening to some of those older podcasts, that's what I actually did. I took my podcast, I put them on my phone and listened to them on the 9-hour plane ride to Switzerland. And I was listening back to some of them. I was like, this is pretty good stuff. Because what I was doing was comparing our movie podcast to a few other movie podcasts that you can download on iTunes. And I'm like, this stuff's just as good as this stuff, if not better. At least it was a little bit more off the rails and funnier than some of the other stuff. So is the Flick Crazy podcast going to continue? I'm going to say most likely. We're actually meeting up here in the next few days, and we might occasionally do the weekly podcast. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, and this is, you guys might be the first ones to kind of hear me say it, I want to start doing maybe a solo podcast. And it's just going to be me talking about movie-related topics, the things that I want to talk about, but I don't want to dedicate an entire video to. Those will be the things I talk about, and at the end of my podcast, I'm going to just break down a whole bunch of movie questions. So I'll answer a whole bunch of movie questions, and that podcast would probably go on the Flick Pick channel. And it's just really a good format to kind of just update you guys on things, talk about random small things, and just really whatever I didn't have time to mention in a video during the week, that's where I can just sum up all my thoughts and everything in that one weekly podcast. And that would be a solo podcast. Oh, that's good. All right, let's keep going here. And by the way, if I look tired, if one eye is shutting down, it's because I've been up a long time and I just want to sleep. But you know what? I can't. You guys deserve this. I neglected you, and I need to pay for my sins against humanity. What do you think is so hard for Hollywood to make good movies these days? What a general question. The thing is, Hollywood is scared of originality. If anything's too original, if there's a concept too mind-blowing that they're scared that one demographic's not going to like, Hollywood simply does not make it. If there's anything with name recognition, Hollywood's all about it. If it has a built-in fan base from 1982, let's make that movie. It doesn't matter what it was, because that title exists and it has 10 fans from 1982. Let's make that because it's already a property somewhere. One of the biggest problems with Hollywood movies are they're too expensive to make. Movies are very, very expensive to make. You look at your modern day comic book action movies, you're spending $150 to $250 million after marketing. And the thing is, that's what Hollywood's doing. They're taking all of their eggs, putting them into one basket, and you're not getting a whole bunch of good movies throughout the year. They're just aiming to make 2 or 3 good movies and a whole bunch of little mediocre shitty movies in between that no one really cares about that are just completely disposable. So in my opinion, here's what Hollywood needs to do. Not every movie needs to cost $250 million to make. Tone things down, bring it back a little bit, and write good scripts. That's right, good original scripts. Yeah, that's right. There's so many writers out there and so many great scripts floating around that just never get made because Hollywood, just from a marketing standpoint, they're just like, oh my God, unless it has Batman in the title, we can't make this movie. And you look at some great movies that don't cost that much to make, movies like Nightcrawler, for an example. Phenomenal movie. It made money. It wasn't, a blockbuster success, but it was a great movie that went on to have a cult following, such as myself, by the way. Hey, look at this t-shirt. Did I mention the links down below? Oh, by the way, speaking of Nightcrawler, right there, check out my Nightcrawler poster right there. Pretty cool stuff. How do you like having an office for this stuff compared to being at home? Does it feel more like work? Well, right now I actually am at home. I'm not at my office. My office is probably about 10 minutes away. Yes and no. There's benefits, there's ups and downs. I like being at the office because I can be loud, obnoxious. I go there 24 hours a day. I can run around the hallways. And when I'm there, when I'm in the office, I do feel very productive because I'm there to get shit done. When I'm at home, my bed's right down the hallway. So when you know your bed's right down the hallway, you're like, fuck editing, I'm gonna go lay down. But when I'm at the office, I don't really have the option to do that. Here's a good one. Does anyone in the office building know you scream at the camera for a living? And does anyone there watch you? I do believe a few people there watch me. I know the manager of the office building, and I know the front desk lady watches me. They know what I do. They both seen the inside of my office. I know the janitorial team knows what I do. They might know a little too much. That's a story for another time. And I think the lady across the hall from me actually called the manager and said, "This guy's screaming." She called and said I was screaming. And maybe I was. But you know what? I gotta get hyped up. I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna scream and you're gonna have to live with it. If you guys don't respect Corey Feldman, well, I just don't understand you. Could you imagine someone hearing that? Like one of her clients hearing a man scream that across the hallway? Hey John, whatever happened to your Patreon? It's been a while. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I was eventually going to start a Patreon. I mentioned it a while ago. And the thing is, like, I don't know. I wanted to come up with perks. I didn't need to make it right away, and there are perks and ideas I had to give back to you guys because, you know, it pretty much is a donation system. You guys donate money to each perk, and you guys get something in return. So if that's extra videos, more content, maybe watching the podcast a few days early. The thing is with Patreon, people get very upset with it, and the thing is because they think, like, you're going to charge people to watch everything that you do, and the thing is, everything that I wanted to do on Patreon was just going to be extra for Patreon. Everything that I normally do now is still going to be everything I still do. So, yeah, I am looking into Patreon. I'm always coming up with new perk ideas because I'm being very picky on what I do. I want to do something that's good and worth the time. But I think definitely releasing some videos early and giving you guys new extra videos just for Patreon, that might be an idea, or maybe like a special Patreon only Q&A where I guarantee I answer people's questions. That might be a possibility. So yeah, if you guys are interested in Patreon, let me know your thoughts down below. Would you guys want to be part of that? Let me know. Maybe I'll include some free t-shirts as part of the perks and giveaways and cool shit. I don't know. I just want to make it fun and cool and exciting. What is a movie you find to be amazing but can never see yourself watching again due to it being disturbing or just no replay value minus Clockwork Orange? I'd agree with you. There's tons of movies similar to Clockwork Orange where I could just never ever watch it again. It's like, yeah, it was great the one time I watched it, but other movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and there's tons of movies that you would think that you would only want to watch one time, but I can watch over and over. Just one off the top of my head is The Shawshank Redemption. I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I've seen that movie one time in 1995 and I loved it. I never want to watch it again. But me, I'm like, anytime that movie's on TV, or I just randomly I'm just feeling a little bit depressed and I want some redemption in my life, I watch that movie. I watch that movie at least once a year. So yeah, there's tons of movies. I'd say 90% of the movies I see in a movie theater are movies that I don't ever want to watch again. Even if I like them, I probably will never go out of my way to watch them again. Hey John, where did you get that awesome Yoda head? Yeah, when I was promoting this video, I did a shit here. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Let's go downstairs. By the way, Jaws poster.
John, answer questions you will in your Q&A.
So here's the Yoda head. I actually got this at Walmart. It's in the Halloween section at Walmart. It's $5, and it's $5 well spent. Just look how beautiful this is. It's handcrafted. I loved it. And what I do is I put candy in there. So may the candy be with you. Once again, I hate DSLRs. They shut off because they get too hot. It's like, why don't you put some vents in the camera? That way it doesn't overheat. Because this camera right here, my good video camera, this never overheats. It never just shuts off because it says it's getting too hot. No. So anyway, yeah, once again, that's why I don't use DSLR. So anyway, guys, like I was saying, ask anything and everything down below. And look out for a special Q&A over on the Flickpick channel early next week. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out my last video here on this channel. It's a very cool unboxing video where I open up viewer fan mail. There's some really cool stuff, and everyone who sent something, thank you. That was one of the best unboxing videos I've ever done, so definitely check that video out. That link's down below. It was the last video here on the channel. I'll see you guys next time.